Hello everyone and welcome to 2024. For those of you who are going to be graduating this year, or maybe you're looking to pivot into the space, this video is for you. It's going to be more focused on the corporate sustainability realm, since that's kind of the experiences that I offer. And for those of you who are new to my channel, hello, my name is Tyanna Bui and I've been working in the sustainability space for a while now, switching from nonprofit to consulting, and now I'm in-house in corporate sustainability. I really do like to share on this channel some tips and tricks and advice that I've learned over the years in hopes I can help you guys just understand a little bit more as to where you want to be in, because this field is so broad and vast and you can honestly do a lot in it. So hope that this video can help you shape a little bit more to see what you want to do in 2024. So the roles I'm going to be sharing with you today is kind of a blend of what I've been seeing in-house as well as what I've been seeing in the marketplace on LinkedIn and the other job search engines out there, and also trying to make sure that we do include what's going on in the space in general, right? So what is evolving in 2024 for this area? So as we go through each role, I'm going to be sharing about why this role may be important, what the high-level responsibilities are, as well as the high-level qualifications. And this is more from my research while browsing on the job sites. So the first job out there that I'm seeing is the sourcing compliance or procurement manager. Now, as we evolve in the carbon space for corporate sustainability, there's a huge emphasis on trying to first understand our carbon emissions, and then second, decarbonizing those scope 3 emissions, which come from the value chain emissions. So think about your upstream and your downstream activities. Those are what would be deemed as scope 3 emissions. So understanding that part of this is through what companies are buying and their supply chain, there is a huge emphasis for companies to build out these decarbonization strategies across their supply chain. In doing this too, it helps companies to be more transparent as they're reporting about their progress, because our investors and stakeholders are always interested to know not only what are the carbon impacts, but what are companies doing to decrease that. And a lot of that does come from the supply chain and what companies are buying goods and services from. So some high-level roles and responsibilities for this type of job are that they're the person that typically handles the company sourcing operations and ensures that suppliers are in compliance with the regulations and company policies, including those that are environmental and social. They typically manage the communications and the relationships with suppliers and vendors. Some of these communications includes trainings, emails, and having virtual or in-person meetings. And lastly, another big thing that they can be doing is driving the supplier engagement programs such as decarbonization and create supplier scorecards. So throughout the program, how well is the supplier doing? And then sometimes the teams would go and assess that, oh, if this supplier isn't meeting our standards, but this other one is, maybe we need to have a business discussion to see if we want to continue forward with them. So some high-level qualifications is for sure having some supplier and vendor management experience, being really good at project management, having strong writing and verbal communications, and being able to analyze data and create a business strategy, especially with the programs that are being ran by these teams. And so the second role, probably not a surprise to you, but environmental sustainability managers. And this is something that I kind of do in-house, but really when a company has these goals that they've set, these environmental goals, they need managers to take this on and build strategies within the organization in order for the company to reach that. And so what this kind of role can do is really oversee the environmental and sustainability issues within the company and the sectors that it's in, and develop strategies to set and meet its goals. They can manage the collection of data across the whole company for analysis and for reporting purposes, and develop and manage relationships with all of these cross-functional teams. I always say in my videos that, you know, when you're working in the sustainability team at a company, it's not just your team that's doing the work. You're really gonna have to make your case to all these other teams in order to get these projects running. So a really great thing to build. Some qualifications for this role is honestly being an expert at the environmental science and sustainability issues around a certain sector for the company that you are applying for. Other skills can be having strong project management skills, strong writing and communication skills, including being a really great pitch presenter, and having a data analysis and business strategy background. So the next role is an ESG or Sustainability Reporting Manager. Now this role is pretty important because, as I mentioned before, stakeholders and investors are really interested to understand the company's impacts that they're invested in. And the way to do this is by the company actually disclosing and being transparent about what it is that they're actually doing. And coming into 2024, there are a lot of regulations that are coming out in the US and in Europe that's requiring companies to disclose on their environmental impacts and social impacts. If you're interested to learn a little bit more about this, I'll put some upcoming legislation in the description, but one to really highlight is called the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive that's coming out of Europe. This is a non-financial disclosure where companies will have to follow these certain frameworks that are out there and disclose on their impacts and their progress towards those impacts. Now, what these roles will be responsible for is to lead the environmental sustainability reporting work streams across the company. They'll collect and prepare data for the regulatory and voluntary disclosures that are currently out there and use this data to identify trends and inform strategies. Some qualifications in order to be in this type of role is really understanding the reporting frameworks that are out there, and especially depending on the country that you do sit in, there are specific ones for different areas. So just being knowledgeable on which ones you have to complete would be really, really important. You'd also probably want some strong project management skills since you're gonna be working across all the teams to collect everything, write everything, get everything confirmed by legal in the report and in all the disclosures by a certain deadline. Having strong writing and verbal communication skills, and again, being able to data analysis and create some visuals from that, because since you are gonna be probably the data holder for the company as it relates to environmental impacts, they'll want you to assess that and identify any trends that are happening out there and if there's any strategic business decisions that a company can make based on what your findings are. So this is something that I haven't really seen before, but I've been seeing this role called SEC Reporting Manager going about. And this is pretty much because there is gonna be a requirement out there that companies have to disclose their greenhouse gas emissions under the Security Exchange Commission. So that's more of a US entity. More on that in the descriptions below. But what this role is typically responsible for is that it will implement this new accounting standard and financial reporting requirements across the company. They'll work cross-functionally to gather the information and the documentation needed for those financial reports, and also monitor some emerging accounting and reporting regulations. Companies really want someone with accounting or financial experience, someone who probably has their CPA, and this makes sense since this is all about putting the impacts and risks and opportunities in the financial reports. They want someone with strong project management experience, writing, and strong verbal communications, and overall being able to do some research on the side in case there are any emerging things coming out. This next one is project and program managers. And so as a company starts to evolve in their sustainability journey, they're probably gonna have a lot of projects and programs coming down the pipeline. And typically the environmental managers would take a hold of this, but there could be cases, especially if it's a very large organization, really progressed in what they're doing, they probably need some people at a more specific front or general program and project managers just to help get these going. Some of the high-level roles and responsibilities for these roles is to manage and implement sustainability projects and programs, work cross-collaboratively through the project or program lifecycle, and to develop and maintain internal dashboards for key stakeholders. Some of the qualifications for this is what you would think a project or program manager to know. but it's to have some knowledge and experience in that realm. I have seen some roles where they do have a preference for a PMP, which is a project management professional certification. Some knowledge on company-specific sustainability topics and best practices. And so if you were to look online and do some browsing, since, for example, there is a high demand about the net zero world and decarbonization, sometimes they'll have very specific program managers or project managers for the net zero case or for the decarbonization case. So having some general background on what that is, what that entails, how a company can actually achieve net zero, how they can decarbonize their supply chain or anything like that would be more of a benefit for you to know. I know I say that, but I've also known some project managers and program managers where they've come from this different area of an industry and they're kind of just put into this role that they're doing now in sustainability. But what they're able to show is that through all the diverse previous project management experiences that they've had, that they're able to learn really quickly at the different topics that they were managing in the past. Probably should have some strong writing and verbal communication skills, and overall just being someone who really likes building relationships across the company. This next role is data analyst. I feel like I talk about this role a lot, and this is one of the first full-time positions that I've gotten right after I graduated. And companies want data analysts because if you think about the manager position, when a company first decides that they want to hire a sustainability team, they first hire the manager roles and the director roles, right? So these managers, they're kind of stuck with doing everything. So like doing the strategy, doing the pitching, doing the data analysis, doing the reporting. But then as the company grows and more requirements become more serious, that's when a company would start hiring all these more specific roles, one of them being the data analyst roles. So some roles and responsibilities with this role is to manage the data collection and management processes, making it accessible on demand. So if anyone has a question about like, oh, in 2018, what was our water risk assessment score? Then you'll have that in your back pocket to share with them and maybe share some of the results and takeaways from that finding. You'll build models, visualizations, and dashboards for monitoring progress and performance, and develop strong relationships across the company and inform business decisions. Some basic qualifications for this role is to be familiar with the sustainability reporting and metrics that are out there. You can do that by looking at companies that you're really interested in. If they are bigger, they typically have a sustainability page, and then you can go ahead and see what it is that they're reporting as their KPI. And then you can also go to those reporting frameworks and standards to see what types of data that they're collecting. You should have strong data analysis, management, and visualization skills. Nowadays, I'm seeing these roles have more specific requirements, especially with modeling. So having some skills with Python or Tableau, I see it to be a really big plus. And then also having some writing and verbal communication skills, because again, you know, they want someone technical, but they also want someone who can explain what it is that they're analyzing and the results that they found. So this last one is all about consultants. And if you're wondering what the difference is between more of these in-house roles versus an external consultant role, here's my video somewhere where I kind of break down the pros and cons in each and kind of explain through my experiences what it is that I found through them. But consultants, I feel like, are never gonna die. They're just gonna keep growing. There's so many different types out there. First, it used to just be all about, you know, the specific things that were needed, like the reporting or the greenhouse gas emissions or validation. But then as companies are seeing this to be more serious, I've seen it expand to business strategy, to leadership communications, and then there's all these different sectors that have their own cases that they need solved. So I feel like the world of consulting is only growing from here, and it's gonna be really important because when a company is working on these goals, they're very siloed in what they're doing. They're kind of just like thinking about their own company, their own sector, their own social politics of what's going on. So it's really nice when a company has resources to hire consultants, which is typically the case that they do, because consultants hold this whole wealth of trends and knowledge about what other companies are doing in the same space, in different spaces, to help advance the clients that they're helping. Okay, so some of the roles and responsibilities for a consultant could be managing the clients and the communications, all of the deliverables that gets handed to them, and overall kind of just building that strong relationship with the clients, because not only do you want to work with them once, you want them to come back for more business with you, and so that may be something that you may be in charge of. Another thing could be researching trends and best practices for the client that you're working for, or just performing basic and general research tasks. And so the company, when they come in, they typically have some questions of what they want to see, and so you'd be in charge of performing those specific research tasks. Some qualifications for this role is to be a really knowledgeable expert in the field, knowing the best practices for the industry that you're choosing to consult for, having a strong business strategy and research expertise, because as you're conducting these research tasks or these tasks for your clients, they're gonna be asking you questions of how can you bring this up to leadership to make sure that their leadership gets a green light for what it is that they want to do. So just being sure that you have that knowledge in your back pocket, having strong project management and client relation skills, and overall just being a strong writing and verbal communicator, being great at presenting to other people. So to summarize, here's a list of roles that we went over today. I hope you did enjoy this video and gain some knowledge as to what's coming in 2024. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know to do more career-focused videos like this. Until next time, chat later, guys.